ran the black market to end all black markets. A whole new variety of organized criminal activity blossomed. With the massive surge of profits flowing through that criminal underworld, this country reached whole new levels of official corruption, government corruption, things that would put anything that we've got today to shame, except maybe the Interior Department under the Bush administration. It's not about the Bush. I mean, that was really, the specifics there. Remember, they put the Abramoff guy, the #2 guy in charge of the Department of the Interior. And there was that one office where they were snorting meth off the toaster oven. The people who worked in the office regulating the oil industry were actually having affairs with oil industry lobbyists. Anyway, so the Bush administration Interior Department maybe can compete. And actually, if you think about it, there was that morning last summer where 44 people got arrested all at once in New Jersey on corruption. Remember that? And then there's Rod Blagojevich. All right, maybe we can't imagine what super corrupt criminal government looks like, but in Prohibition, it was really bad. In the Depression, the criminal economy that was a side effect of the carry nations of the world convincing us to ban booze, that criminal economy was big enough that it crowded out a lot of the real economy. Trying to recover from the Great Depression meant, in part, trying to figure out means of stimulus spending that wouldn't just disappear into the gangster economy, which was quantitatively an actual competitor to the legitimate economy. Now, granted, we do remember some cool things from that era. Flapper dresses. Every drink you've ever had that's made with orange juice, you owe to that era because they needed something with a strong flavor to disguise the taste of the disgusting bathtub gin. But basically, it was a huge drag. It was a huge public policy failure. I'll just give you one other concrete example of how barbaric and stupid this time was in American public policy. Consider industrial alcohol. There's alcohol for drinking, right, which is banned at that time. And then there's alcohol for things like solvents, rubbing alcohol. People were so desperate to drink that they would sometimes drink industrial alcohol. Or people in the wildly profitable business of bootlegging would steal or rip off industrial alcohol somehow and then redistill it to make it vaguely drinkable. Well, the government decided during Prohibition that that must be stopped. And their genius idea to stop it was to poison the industrial alcohol. Deborah Bloom, who's a great writer, wrote about this for Slate.com recently. The government took industrial alcohol and they added things like kerosene, gasoline, benzene, mercury salts, nicotine, ether, formaldehyde, chloroform, acetone. They would add known poisons to these things that they knew people wanted to drink, and then, people would still drink them and they would die from drinking them. It's been estimated that as many as 10,000 people may have been killed by government actions this way during Prohibition, when the government decided to discourage people from doing something that people already knew was really bad for them, but they wanted to do it anyway. Prohibition was really stupid at a million different levels. Finally, after 13 long, dumb years, it was repealed in 1933. And then we as a country promptly set about forgetting we had ever done it. I think it's important to remember Prohibition, because it was 13 long years and it was a really bad idea. But it's also important to remember Prohibition because enacting it was a huge disaster for our nation, but it was a personal triumph for Carrie Nation. I would like to offer the hypothesis on this beautiful graduation day that personal triumphs are overrated. I mean, if you think about it, when Jack Abramoff got the White House to install his on-the-tape corrupt patsy as the #2 job at the Department of the Interior, thus leading to the snorting meth off the toaster oven, sleeping with the oil lobbyists vibe at the Department of the Interior, that was a personal triumph for Jack Abramoff. Someone at Yum Brands this year achieved their personal triumph of getting KFC to remove the bun from a cheese and bacon sandwich and replace that bun with pieces of fried chicken. The Double Down sandwich designer's personal triumph. When the current president hit upon the strategy of co-opting his political opponent's wish list in order to get a climate bill passed this year, President Obama adopting drill baby drill was lauded in the Beltway press as a personal and political triumph for him. Someone invented the AMC Gremlin and got a car company to build it for 9 years. That was a personal triumph. There's a Tennessee businessman who has mass-marketed a legal means of charging 400% interest on something they call payday loans, despite laws against usury and loan sharking in this country. He has made so much money off of ripping off Americans in that way that he built himself a full-scale college football stadium with lights and seating and a field house and everything in his backyard for his personal use, and he hires college football teams to play there for his own enjoyment. He markets himself as a great American personal triumph. Al Capone rose from humble beginnings in Brooklyn to build a huge crime empire that essentially owned Chicago during Prohibition, a personal triumph. All these people dreamed their dreams and worked hard and achieved their dreams. Some dreams are bad dreams. Will you do that again? Everybody always says around occasions like this, at least in my experience, life is short. It might be. If it is for you, I'm sorry, and I wish that was not the case. But I would caution against believing the life is short advice that you should live every day as if it is your last. As if you're only ever going to be roughly the age you are now. Frankly, if all goes well, life's long. So, if you might take any advice from me, I would offer this. Hopefully, life is long. Do stuff you will enjoy thinking about and telling stories about for many years to come. Do stuff you will want to brag about. Nobody brags to the grandkids about how they were one of the geniuses who came up with the idea of poisoning all the industrial alcohol in the country. Nobody's going to brag to the grandkids about having made one of the who needs wetlands, let's have a subdivision and a shipping canal in